Medical expert appeared before the Truth Commission to narrate his experience of treating HIV/AIDS in the Gambia. Kenyan farmers are adopting new farming system to improve food production. And the Gambia registered 6 new COVID-19 cases, 2 persons discharged. This and more coming on the news desk. This is Africa TV and many thanks for joining us. I am Amadou Kante and now the news in detail. And we begin with matters of the TRRC because as the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission continues its hearing on ex-President Jammeh's alternative HIV/AIDS and other ailments treatment programs, a senior scientist and head of HIV research at the MRC, West Africa Collaboration and Research Network, appeared on Wednesday. Dr. Assam Jay's appearance is meant to give first-hand information about his work on HIV in the Gambia and how HIV and AIDS treatment was approached and dealt with by the MRC in collaboration with the Gambia government. He told the Commission that HIV was regarded as a death sentence because of its ability to integrate into the DNA and hide itself for a long period. As a result, it always a step ahead of immune system. Dr. Jai said in the early 2000s, scientists found highly active intertroviral therapy represented a game changer on HIV treatment. He said this is because it was able to reduce the viral load of affected persons to the extent that it cannot be transmitted to another person. Let's take a listen to Dr. Jai in this insight.
And then clinicians started trying that, and we tried it too. We started using two drugs from at least 2 to 3 drugs from at least 2 classes. And then when we did that combination, that became the game changer, not only for our unit, but for everywhere in the world, actually. And this is what we call HEART.
What do you mean by it became a game changer?
It became a game changer because the moment these 2 drug combinations were given, these combinations of drugs from 2 classes were given, it was able to quickly suppress the viral replication. But not only that, if you maintain the therapy with good adherence, the viral replication becomes so low that transmission doesn't happen again. There won't be enough in the plasma for the plasma viral load to effect transmission. And this was when now HIV declared that it's a manageable infection. And it then turned out to become a disease that can be managed like any chronic infection. Like diabetes, you stay with the drugs for the rest of your life and have a productive life. And that is what we came to discover with these new classes of drugs.
Essentially, what was very likely a death sentence have now been reduced by reason of medicine to a disease that you can live with for a very, very long time.
With a very good productive life and a good quality of life.
For as long as you take your medicine.
For as long as you are adherent to your medicine.
So it just became just like diabetes.
Exactly.
Like any other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And consequently, after trying these drugs for about a decade now, and that's why people wonder why is HIV not talked about anymore, even though we don't have a vaccine. And maybe I could come to why it's difficult to really produce a vaccine, but I'm not sure it's necessary now. But people will now say, why don't we talk about HIV? But this is the major reason. The major reason that it became an infection, surprisingly, because HIV is the first known successful virus. When a virus is regarded successful, it's because it's able to maintain itself in its host. Unlike Ebola, Ebola kills you and kills itself and then disappears. So it's not a successful virus, but it's very deadly. But HIV becomes chronic and maintains itself, and that's why it's a successful virus. And once you get that kind of virus, you have a problem. And that's why HIV became a problem.
That was Dr. Assam Jai, a medical expert who today appeared before the TRRC to testify on the, of course, HIV treatment in the Gambia. And we'll bring you more details of his testimony in our subsequent news bulletins. Now, internal displaced people in one of the biggest camps in South Darfur are disgruntled over what they claim are prison-like conditions. The Austas camp houses hundreds of thousands of people who are displaced due to the political and tribal instability in Sudan. Here are more details of that in this report.
Earlier in August this year, a series of bandit activities were reported by the people in the Austas camp. A deteriorating security condition led to complaints of a series of robbery and assaults. An independent UN expert, Aristide Nonossi, who visited the camp, revealed that the displaced people lived in a state of insecurity owing to the presence of various armed and criminal activities within the region. Sudan's instability has resulted in a mass displacement within various regions. More than 100,000 people fled to the Austas camp in South Darfur, escaping attacks on their homes. With such a colossal influx of people arriving frequently in the camp to seek for protection, providing basic needs to its people becomes challenging. Humanitarian aid have been extended from the World Food Programme and various NGOs to the people of the camp. For iAfrica TV, Sohna Tunkara.
And from that report, they filed in by Sohna Tunkara. Now on Tuesday, the Minister of Basic and Secondary Education announced the results of the 2020 Gambia Basic Education Certificate Examination, GABESE. The national examination results have been described as impressive, with only 26 students produced aggregate 6 out of more than 23,000. The top performers are in schools within the Greater Banjul area, with the exemption of Barra Upper Basic School. The CC has more details of that in this report.
Of 23,039 students who sat to this year's Gambia Basic Education Certificate Examination, GABEC, 26 had aggregate 6, the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education said on Tuesday. After years of declining performances by students, education authorities say that this year's results are better than the previous years. Madam Sohna Foon, the Director of Planning at the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, presented the statistic on students' performances across the board at a press briefing Tuesday.
Now the next table is showing us the number of students with aggregate 6 by school and gender. We have a total number of 26 students with aggregate 6 this year. So overall, out of the 26, 16 students are male with aggregate 6, are female with aggregate 6, and 10 male with aggregate 6.
Students' performances in the 2020 national exams have improved generally. Leo Moses Mendy, the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Education, said this is a significant progress compared with last year's exam results.
In 2019 we have 104, and in 2020 we had 92. It shows a decrease of 0.1. But what is important is, as a sector, as a ministry, we are not after the few. What we are looking at is the general good. We are after the inclusiveness, the overall performance of the students. For us, it's not only a segment, it is not only a set of people that is important for us. For us, it's every child that goes to school that is important to us.
Education authorities said the 2020 GABEC saw a rise in the number of passes in the core subjects, except mathematics, which registered a decline. However, some schools have their results withheld by the Examination Council on allegation of examination malpractice. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Daisy.
Education authorities there assessing this year's Gambia examinations. Now to the COVID-19 situation in the country. The Gambia has on Wednesday recorded 2 new COVID-19 recoveries. This has taken the total number of recoveries to 2,595 since the confirmation of the first case in the country in March. The country has seen a decrease in the number of new cases compared to 2 months back when the spike in the number of cases began. With 6 new cases registered, the total number of COVID-19 cases in the country is now 3,642 as of Wednesday. No new COVID-19 related deaths have been reported. No one has been newly taken into quarantine and no new discharge were made from the treatment centers. In the Gambia, no one is in quarantine and there are currently 929 active cases and a crude case fatality ratio of 3.2%. And that is the latest update of the coronavirus in the Gambia. And with that, we will now take a break and come back shortly. Stay with us, there is more news coming ahead right after this. Welcome back, and once again many thanks for joining us. Now, despite the impact of the COVID-19 global pandemic, Egyptian economy is expected to avoid recession in 2020 according to the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Experts say the projection is based on the economic reforms initiated in 2016 and the government's fast response against the pandemic. The North African state has lost more than 40% of its revenue thanks to the adverse effects of the global health crisis. Here are more details of that in this report.
It's another stamp of approval by an international financial institution. Rating agency Moody's and the International Monetary Fund had earlier commended Egypt's economic performance. And now the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development says Egypt is the only economy across all the regions in which the bank invests that is expected to escape recession in 2020. Experts relate this to the aggressive economic reforms started in 2016 and the quick response by the North African state to tackle the pandemic.
The Central Bank of Egypt did cut interest rates by almost 3% at the beginning of the corona period, which helped a lot, of course, the businesses and the individuals also to get loans at a discounted rate, which was crucial in order to keep the businesses and the individuals who are suffering from some financial tightness to continue throughout this period. Secondly speaking is the fact that Egypt did not do a full closure like Saudi or UAE or Kuwait. So all in all, yes, Egypt did put some restrictions, but at the end of the day, we saw regular working hours from 9 till 5 p.m. at the beginning of the corona situation, and then it started to be more or less flexible. So also of why we're still witnessing growth.
A stimulus fiscal package of over $14 billion announced earlier in the year has protected several ailing sectors from shutting down. Significant funds, mainly from foreign loans, have been invested in increasing local production of food and agricultural products, thus reducing import costs, saving on expenditure, and keeping local businesses alive. The London-quartered EBRD also affirmed the positive results to the mega infrastructure projects launched by the government before and during the pandemic, as well as the flourishing e-commerce and telecom sectors. Meanwhile, the government saw the expensive import bill of petroleum products drop significantly due to lower consumption because of the pandemic-induced lockdown.
We think overall that the Egyptian economy itself is very different than the rest of the region. The Egyptian economy is locally driven from a local population, unlike, for example, the GCC, which is mainly driven through expats and through foreigners. So that's one thing. The second thing is that the Egyptian economy is not solely driven also on oil prices. It's mainly locally driven through local investment activity and local consumption.
The pandemic still has had a huge impact on the budget. Finance Minister Mohammed Maid says the state has lost a significant $14.1 billion in revenue. It's a result of lower yields from major sources of income such as taxes, the Suez Canal and tourism. The government expects the critical tourism and aviation industries in particular to suffer the most, even post-COVID-19. The sectors are expected to need more time to rebound. According to a World Bank report, Egypt is the highest recipient of foreign direct investments in the Middle East and North Africa so far in 2020. Another vote of confidence from investors concerning Egypt's economy.
And from the report there in Cairo, Egypt, we return to matters of the TRRC again. Because Lamin Gano, the former lieutenant colonel in the Gambia Army, has told the Truth Commission that former President Yahya Jammeh was unpredictable and erratic. Gano also said he considers himself lucky for not being arrested when he resigned from the army. Omar Ahmad Toure has more in this report.
An aide to Yahya Jammeh said on Tuesday that the ex-dictator was like an angel to him on a personal basis and never had problems with him, but also confirmed that Jammeh could be devilish. Lamin Gano, a former lieutenant colonel in the army, said he was lucky to escape Jammeh's temperamental and erratic behaviors after serving as ADC for years. He took the decision to retire from the army at a time when his friends cautioned him not to do so for fear of him getting arrested by Jammeh.
Again, it's really based on the unpredictability of President Jammeh.
President Jammeh jiko Kenya to wairi mo bukatu long sining abemengela.
Would have seen the resignation anyhow.
Asio daha jeno le nyaunyandi nyama.
Like Nyadi. He could have approved it like the way he did it if he was in his good mood.
Asisono le kata kasonala natara ataranya nyimma kono.
But if he was in a serious mood, it could have been totally different. He had all the options. He could have disapproved my resignation and then maybe follow it up with kind of a witch hunting or trying to arrest or to detain or whatever.
He said he was fortunate that he didn't receive torture from Jammeh for his resignation, as it could have been taken otherwise. Gano claimed he never witnessed anybody having problems with Jammeh, but knew about these from the testimonies of people that appeared at the Truth Commission before. The lead counsel interjected and asked him to be truthful and be an example to the junior officers in the army and stop dilly-dallying. As a former officer, he said he cherished the principle of rule of law and does not support the use of violence to settle matters and has confirmed right violations under Jammeh. On HIV and other treatments offered by Jammeh, Gano said the treatments were unsuccessful and false. In his 18-month stay with Jammeh on the treatment program, he has never witnessed any person who got cured of AIDS. He himself tried Jammeh's medicines, even though he had never had the experience of illnesses and had developed black spots on the fingers as a result of it, but was told by Jammeh that he had the illness locally called Kuli. Gano went further to recommend his mother and cousin to be part of Jammeh's hypertension treatment. But what impact did it have on them?
Both of them are still alive and they are still hypertensive.
In
fact, my cousin had a stroke not long ago because of this hypertensive.
Was Jammeh truthful to them or did Jammeh lie to them?
I will say his medicine, hypertensive medicine, did not work.
Lamin Gano was a former lieutenant colonel in the army and was once posted to Farfenye as a platoon commander, but ended up serving as a battalion adjutant. He had also served in the peacekeeping mission to Sierra Leone as part of the UN. Until his resignation, he was serving as an ADC to former President Yahya Jammeh. For iAfrica TV, I am Omar Ahmad Toure.
Witnesses continue to appear before the Truth Commission, and of course, as Lamin Gano appeared on Tuesday. Finally, to Kenya. Now, in a bid to tackle food insecurity, Kenyan farmers are embracing modern farming system to boost production. The initiative is meant to improve farming activities in the modern cities and encourage people's participation in agriculture. As we featured in this report, is a young Kenyan farmer who explained his journey in technology farming. And here are more details of that in this report.
23-year-old Martin Kirori Maina is a man on a mission. He's keen to promote healthy eating and food security through urban farming.
Urban farming, it's a kind of technology which entails bringing up the farming system in the urban cities. Because due to the challenge of food insecurity, we are coming up with strategies also to involve urban people to participate in farming regardless of the small space they are living in.
One of those strategies is to use spiral gardening. This is recommended because of its capacity to hold plenty of crops in a small space and for its affordability.
The cost of a spiral garden varies with size. We have three main sizes. The small one, which costs $20, and a medium one, $40, and we have the big size, which costs $80.
The garden is also eco-friendly in that it consumes very little water and uses biofertilizers. Martin developed his passion for farming as a teenager. He believed that by getting into the agricultural sector, he would help solve food security challenges that the continent faces. The Food Agricultural Organization says that half of the world's food insecure countries are in Africa. Armed with this knowledge, he joined the Kenya Institute of Organic Farming. Now he runs his consultancy firm, Kili Smart Organics.
To me, farming is fun because it entails a lot of things. It entails a lot of groups. You work with a lot of people. In farming, basically, I can say it is the basic of all things because you serve the people every day. Everyone has to eat. You eat, everyone eats. And through that, I saw it also as an opportunity, even as a way, as a career, which can also bring something on my pocket also.
Our relationship started as, a client consultant kind of thing, and it transitioned into now what we have, Kili Smart Organics.
He also recommends the use of drip irrigation so as to reduce wastage of water. Martin has urged Kenyan farmers to use climate-smart technologies.
Hydroponic technology is also becoming popular in Kenya, especially among urban farmers who are trying to adapt to the effects of climate change, a challenge the United Nations says is the biggest of the 21st century.
This is a hydroponics farming technology, which entails farming without soil. In short, soil is farming. Through these, we do various types of crops such as salads, herbs, and vegetables in various maybe methods. This one is called an A structure.
Hydroponics also help to conserve water by recycling it and eliminating wastage. It is ideal for farmers with poor soils or those who have no access to huge tracts of land and would wish to control the environment for their crops.
There is a upper nutrient tank where the mixing is done and later the system is fed to these pipes direct to the plants.
Martin hopes that farmers in Africa will adopt these technologies. This, he says, will boost food security and proper nutrition across the continent.
From that, of course, inspiring report of the farming system in Kenya, and I hope farmers across the continent would, of course, heed to the call and, of course, innovate the new way of farming in the continent. And with that, we bring this News Desk bulletin to an end. But for more details on this and other stories, as always, you can log on to our website at africa.tv. But you can also join Sana Tunka at 17:30 GMT, 5:30 local time for the World Today News Bulletin. And of course, with that, thank you very much for the pleasure of your company. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and bye for now.